If you think that Palantir is spying on you, the reality is 10 times worse than you realize. Most people hear Palantir and they immediately picture some shadowy, all seeing eye watching every individual. That's a misconception at best and propaganda at worst, and I want to break it down. There are companies that exist today that are pushing technologies much more invasive and directly relevant to you than whatever you're thinking Palantir is doing. The vast majority of what Palantir does is not personally related to you at all. They don't care about what you ate for lunch. They don't care about what car you drive, but other corporations, and some might come to mind here, do. And they use that data to psychologically profile you. If you care at all about the social contract, you understand that in every modern society, you trade some level of privacy for some level of security. Palantir operates in a dynamic where their intention is to provide as much security as possible to the American people while limiting their invasions of privacy. Others are operating today on a different model in which the actual creation of security is second to the profit that can be made by invading individuals' private lives. If you disagree, please click away from the video now. I have nothing to gain from trying to convince you, and it's likely your intention to remain misinformed. If you're willing to be convinced that Palantir is not ontologically evil, keep watching. Alex Karp is not trying to be the polished Silicon Valley CEO. He's loud, he's chaotic, and he's very often an asshole. And that gets twisted into creepy by people who have never made a real effort to understand what he's doing. It's partially not their fault. Palantir's marketing has always been intentionally vague, and they're very deliberately abstract about their product positioning. They seem to believe that they're better off if they don't tell you exactly what they do, and the result is that the public fills in the blanks with sci-fi nightmares. The reality is that Palantir builds data analytics software for organizations. You can think of it as a sophisticated CRM and integration layer for governments, defense, logistics, and disaster response, large enterprises, etc. Palantir insists that they don't do CRMs, but that's just another deflection tactic in their marketing. I don't understand why they do this. Their software is designed to help you connect messy data sets, surface relationships, and to make better decisions under constraints. It's primarily relational and organizational. It's not a consumer behavior profiling engine. It's not optimizing ad clicks by tracking what you're watching on YouTube at 2 a.m. It's not building a permanent individual dossier for the purpose of exploitation. Most of what people think that Palantir does, they're not doing that. When people collapse everything into the single word surveillance, they lose the ability to distinguish between identity surveillance, behavioral surveillance, environmental surveillance, and relational surveillance. Palantir lives mostly in the relational layer, deciphering how systems and organizations connect. Now look at Flock. Flock Safety deploys automated license plate readers and cameras into everyday public and semi-public spaces. In one documented case, a sales employee accessed live and recorded feeds from cameras inside a children's gymnastics room at a Jewish community center, along with playgrounds, a pool, a school, and fitness spaces, as part of a product demo. The company's own FAQ had claimed that nobody from Flock was accessing or monitoring customer footage, and that turned out to not be true. Their CEO later apologized for, quote, poor judgment. Their CEO, by the way, Garrett Langley, has seemingly apologized for a bunch of things a bunch of times, including calling anti-Flock advocates, quote, terrorists like Antifa, and selling customer data after making promises not to. A Denver councilwoman who met with him directly said, quote, he has been dishonest repeatedly. As an aside, hey Garrett, if you're watching this, go fuck yourself. There are also repeated reports of installations moving forward with signatures from local officials or police without full council approval, or cameras going up and sometimes being reinstalled without proper permits or ongoing consent. This is a different business model. Flock is in the business of continuous environmental and identity capture in spaces where ordinary people, including children, actually live and play. The governance questions are immediate: consent, retention, access controls, mission creep, and civil liberties. Palantir and Flock are not as interchangeable as many people believe. Treating them as the evil technocrat company flavor of the month is not logically consistent. One is primarily about governed organizational data under explicit constraints, and the other is about scaling observation into the daily environment with far thinner public understanding of the trade-offs. Google and Microsoft collect vast amounts of personal behavioral data for advertising and product improvement. This shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. Most people have made their peace with that, or at least stopped noticing. The interfaces are familiar, the value exchange feels clear, free services in return for targeting. Palantir works on organizational systems. The data is usually already inside the customer's environment. Logistics, supply chains, case files, sensor feeds. The value is decision quality, not ad revenue. And yet, the public perception is inverted on this, where the company that markets itself in the abstract, almost literary language, gets treated as the villain, while the ones quietly harvesting individual behavior for commercial gain are accepted as normal. Marketing materials shape understanding. When a company is vague, people invent the scariest story. When a company is slick and consumer-facing, the data extraction feels like background noise. Flock has gotten away with aggressive deployment practices in part because the product is sold as pure public safety and the details only surface after the cameras are already up. Opacity in messaging does not change the underlying architecture, but it does poison the discourse. Here's the real tragedy. While the companies that expand observation into sensitive everyday spaces face softer scrutiny until a scandal forces apology, the ones that are honest about what they do just get screwed repeatedly. Palantir has missed opportunities to speak more plainly. Where the CRM for high-stakes organizations would have been cleaner than some of the manifesto energy. Clarity is a form of accountability and all that. But we need accountability from both types of companies. We need to demand that large platforms stay transparent about customers, how their data is being handled and who can see it, and expectations of privacy. And we need to demand that technology companies with the potential to impact our private lives answer hard questions about consent, access logs, retention, and mission creep, especially when children are in the frame. We can't solve this by banning any one technological capability. Ethics live in the objectives, the constraints, the oversight, and the honesty about what is actually being built. Demand that honesty from everyone who wields these tools. Palantir is not the Palantir that it's named after. It cannot see everything. It is organizational data analytics. Flock and similar systems raise more immediate questions about everyday environmental and identity capture. The big app platforms have already normalized personal behavioral profiling. The discourse is poisoned because we keep using one vague word for 4 different capabilities. Get precise, support transparency, hold the actual extractors to account. And stop letting the loudest misconception decide who the good guys are. If this clarified anything for you, share this video. Thanks for watching.